Hey guys, Fableaky here today, and we're going to be making a storage minecart station. Um, so, what this is going to do is it's going to create little sections that have weapons and armor, food, or whatever you put in them, obviously, whatever you label them. But each of these has a different minecart stored behind them, and they all come out in the same spot. So if I wanted to get my weapons and armor, I just have to hit this button, and we'll see this light here go off, this one come on, saying that there's a cart here, and we got our weapons and armor right here. Also, while there's a cart here and this light is on, we can't call another cart. It's not going to let me get my food cart because there's already a minecart there, and it's just going to lead to disasters if it let me bring it over. So we're going to put this one away now by hitting this button here. That cart's going to go away. This light will come back on. We're going to call our food cart now. We'll see this light for it go off, and it'll pop out over here. And we got all our food. I got my cake, I got my cookies, my fish, and so forth. So we can put that one away again. I'll mention something here. You'll see these lights flicking. That's just as it goes past. That's just a little kind of thing that happens in the system. But it just does that. So it's kind of good in a way because it will allow you to track where the minecart is. And if it gets stuck, you'll kind of know where it is. So anyways, finally, we've got our redstone one here. Obviously, I can put as many as I want down here. You can add... expand the system as long as I want. It's completely modular. You can do as many as you want. But I've just called over my redstone cart, which has all my redstone stuff in it, my TNT for a bit of fun. So we're going to put that one away right now. So that's what it does. You can see the minecart was tracking along then. And from the front, it's very user-friendly, really easy to use. And once you know how the circuit works, from the back, it's easy as well. But at first glance, it's going to look very confusing. So first things first, we got these colored things here. I'll tell you about those later. But if we have a look around the back, this is our circuit. First thing you'll notice, it isn't too big. Like I've tried really hard to make it small enough that it's going to work well and quickly and not interfere with each other. I spent a lot of time trying to perfect this circuit. This is all original by myself. But anyways, we're going to be making this. And if all these colors and all this redstone and all this stuff looks really confusing to you, don't worry. I'm going to explain every single step, every part individually. I'm going to try and get you a better understanding of how redstone works and how it can work together. But first, I'm going to explain, just show you some of the parts that we've done before that are in this circuit. So you see right here, we got a T flip-flop. We've learned about those before. This is where it comes in really handy. Without the T flip-flop, this whole station here would not work. So all of the purple wool you see here, every time you see purple wool, that is a T flip-flop. So we've got one for each minecart and one over here. Now, this green circuit is a new thing that we haven't learned about yet, but I'm going to teach you about it in this episode. This thing here is actually a pulse limiter, and I'll show you what I mean. If I press this button, normally if you press a button, it will last for a second, but if you watch this redstone, it will go really quickly. It flicks on and off really quickly. So that's what a pulse limiter is doing. We're going to learn more about that shortly. The red circuit here, this actually is a NOT gate here you might be familiar with. We've got our redstone coming in here, that'll turn off. We've actually got a stack of NOT gates here. We're going to go over what this is doing and why this works later. I'm just giving you a quick brief overview of what's going on here. Those are really the main components, the T flip-flop and the pulse limiter. So we're going to get started now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to learn about is the pulse limiter. I'm going to demonstrate what this is by first showing you what an ordinary button will do. So we hit this button and our redstone will turn on for 1 second and then it will turn off again. So that's our ordinary button, but we need to make that signal go faster. We don't want it going for 1 second, we want it to go for a fraction of a second. So we're going to create a pulse limiter. And now the one I'm going to show you here is the smallest and easiest one to make I have seen so far. There might be easier ones out there, but this is the easiest one I know and the one I'm using. So we're going to place a block here and another block on top of it and then just remove the block underneath it. We're then going to place a torch on the side there and a piece of redstone underneath that block. Then get your repeater and put it underneath this torch facing away from it. So you'll see the direction by this arrow, so you want it facing out. Put it on setting 3, put a block here, and then put a piece of redstone on top of it. Then you're done. That's all you need to do. So to use this, we just put a button here. I'm going to make it daytime to make sure it doesn't go night. Put a button here and I'll show you what happens now. So before it went by 1 second. I'll bring this here so you can see it a bit better. So it took 1 second to turn off before. Now it turns off in the length of 1 tick, which is very fast, as you can see. The reason this happens is because currently this redstone here is being powered by this torch. when we press this button, the torch turns off. So it makes sense that the redstone turns off. However, it turns back on really quickly because the redstone underneath is also turning on when you press the button. And the repeater here delays the signal to be 1 tick behind the torch turning off. If that sounds all confusing, basically what it means is the redstone is going to turn off for 1 tick and then turn back on, which is what we see there. That's all you need to know, really, and this is how you build it. So we'll build it again real quick just to reiterate and really sink it in there, because we're going to need to build a few of these later. So we're going to place a block here, another one on top of it, remove the one on the bottom, place a torch here, redstone underneath, repeater here on setting 3, block, and piece of redstone on the top. And if we want to have an input other than a button, we need to actually put this here like this. We need to have a repeater input, otherwise it's not going to work. So we can see it works like this. It does the same job as before, and that's our pulse limiter. The next thing we need to know before we start building our contraption is how to make redstone travel vertically. And it's really quite simple. We're going to start with a block on the bottom here, and we're going to have a redstone input going straight into it. So we have our redstone going to the block, and we're going to put a torch on top of it. So now that torch is off, which actually makes it a NOT gate. But if we put another block straight above it, and put another torch on top of that, and keep doing this, what you'll see happen is we now have a chain of torches that go up, and will carry our signal all the way up to the top. So we have it off the top, but if we remove this, so the signal now turns on, you see the top is on. So that's how we can make our signal go vertically upward. But if we want to make it go downward, then we have to do it a different way, because that's not going to work. Making go down is slightly more involved, but it's still pretty easy to do. So we're going to bring this up the top. I'm going to have our input coming from here, from a torch, and a repeater going into a block right here. This block is now powered, and any powered block that has redstone underneath it will power that redstone. We now have this redstone powered right here. So then if we put another block down underneath that, right here, have a repeater coming out of that block, like that, you'll see that the repeater is now powered. And we just continue this process downward until we get to the height we want to be. So we put that block there, and that block is now powered. So we put redstone underneath it, and then we put another repeater down here. Oop, down there, just like that. And similarly, one last time we put our redstone down the bottom, and we now have a signal that will travel vertically downward. So if we get rid of this torch, you'll see that it turns off. Okay, so we now know everything that we need to be able to start building our station. So I'm going to start building the platform first, and I've built it 5 blocks above the ground, just because that means none of the redstone we're going to be doing is going to be underground, so I'm not going to have to do any digging. Right, so obviously I'm just going to build the station here. This is obviously the easiest part because no redstone is required. So we're just going to build it up like this. You want it to be 2 wide because each segment of the station is 2 blocks wide. So we leave a space here on the left, put a lamp in, put a button next to it. We also then want to remove these 2 blocks which are under the wall there because we're going to need that space later. So that's pretty much all we have to do here. We can put a sign on here now and say sign. Brilliant. Now we're going to go around the other side and start building the actual redstone portion of it. However, before we can do that, we're going to have to build the rails first. So what we're going to do, we're going to come out 1 block away from the platform we've already built. We're going to go down below it, just like this, so we have a little L shape sitting right next to it. Come behind it and bring it along here. So you have 1 block between the whole station like this. So basically it's just outlining these 4 blocks you have here in a nice shape like that. Keep that block there, of course. And our rail for the parking spot of the cart is going to be behind where our button is. And we're going to bring that back 4 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 for the backrest of the cart. Now we'll place down the rail. So we have a powered rail here, a normal rail, detector, powered, normal rail, powered, detector, normal, and powered. So there's no real easy way to sort of just remember that. So you can just have a look at it here, pause it, build it, and you'll be good to go. So there it is. Good. Right, so we've got our tracks down. Now we can actually start working on the circuitry. We're going to start with the pulse limiter. So we're going to go ahead and grab our green wool. I'm just using color coding because I think it makes it a lot easier to see what's going on when you have complex circuits. And yeah, it just makes it more user friendly to be able to see what's happening. So we're gonna activate our pulse limiter when we hit this pressure plate here. So we bring it out here and bring it across 3, because what this is gonna do, when our minecart passes it over this plate, it's gonna activate our T flip-flop, and that T flip-flop controls which way this rail here is going. And we need this to happen really quickly, which is why we need the pulse limiter. If we didn't have the pulse limiter, it wouldn't happen quickly enough, and the cart would go the wrong way. So we're going to start off like this. We're going to bring our redstone coming out of it and along here, and then we're going to have a repeater right there. Green wool right next to that stone brick. We're going to come down underneath. So we're just building our pulse limiter now, exactly like we did before. So hopefully you should know what's going on. I'm just trying to do it a bit slower so you can sort of follow along. Grab our repeater down here, facing that way on 3 delay. Put our redstone on top of it. So we've got our pulse limiter now. Good, that's our first part. Make it daytime again. And now we're going to move on to the T flip-flop, which is our purple circuit. So we'll go grab our purple wool. And we're going to build it off the side of this pulse limiter here. So it's going to be just here, down one block below this green wool here, and then we're going to put purple wool, one piece of purple wool there, so we have a weird kind of shape like that. And then we're going to need to place our pistons. So we grab our ordinary pistons, not sticky pistons. Place one there, and the other one on the other side. So this is just our T flip-flop, which we've done in a previous tutorial. So hopefully you should know what's going on here. Down below that, we'll put one block there. And we'll build our T flip-flop like normal now, just like this, and like that. So now we've done our T flip-flop part of the circuit. Right, now we need to connect this whole circuit here to this rail. Like I said, we need this whole circuit here. The point of it is to change the direction of this rail. So we're going to have to do that now. And that's our blue circuit, our dark blue circuit, which is this one here. And we're going to have it come like this, around the piston, going straight for our rail, which is here. So then we bring it one block up, and we put a torch on top of it. We then get our redstone. This is just an ordinary redstone line, nothing special about it. No logic gates, except for this one. This is actually a NOT gate. And that will control our rail. And we can see that if we just grab more rails along here. So this is our next section. This is how we join more segments together. So we have a powered rail, detector, and a powered rail. So what's going to happen now when we change this backwards and forwards, which we can actually do because our circuit is fully functioning right now. We've already got our button in there. If we hit this button, we'll see that torch will go on. And if we look up here, we can see our rail is facing that way. Now it faces the other way. How about that? We've already got a circuit that works. How good is that? It's really quite easy once you know what's going on. So we're going to leave that button there because that comes in handy later if you need to change the state of it really quickly. So we'll leave that there. Now we're going to come around the back because we still need to activate this light. And right now this button does nothing as well. So we'll get to that. Except it actually turns on that light, which is interesting. But we need to turn on that light when our cart is parked in the spot. So to do that, we put a piece of blue wool here. We're still in the blue circuit. So we have it coming up like this. So it's like a step. Because we know a torch underneath a block is going to power the block. So what we can do now is place some redstone right there, and it'll be powered when that torch is on. And when we place a block here, we know this redstone is actually going to power this block as well, which is a very, very handy little thing, because that means we can snake up the redstone and get it to activate the light. So we're going to get rid of our piston there, put our torch here on this blue wool. So what we've got now is we've got this little step functionality going here where it goes into this block, into the block above it, the stone brick block, which comes and powers this redstone, which powers this block, which powers this torch, which powers this block here, which finally powers the light above it. So now if we change the state of this, we'll see that the light will turn on and the light will turn off. And that's how we get our light to work. Now, really, the last thing we have to do here to make this completely work is put in our button functionality, which obviously right now does nothing but turn on that light, which is not even what we want it to do. So we're going to put a torch on the block behind the button. So when we press this button, our torch will turn off. We'll now go ahead and grab our grey wool because that's our user input circuit. And we're just going to click on the torch here so it comes out like this. and we're going to go one below it. So just like this. So the torch is going onto this block. We're going to go across 3, put another torch on the end, and put redstone along the top. So now when we hit this button, you'll see it right now, this power rail there is off. When we hit the button now, if you look closely, you'll see that it turns on and then turns off. You'll also see this one turn on and off, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we affect that rail, because no matter what, when the cart goes on, it will be on. Now, the next thing we have to pay attention to is that these rails here, this one here specifically, is off, and we need that to be on all of the time. To do that, we simply put a torch below the light, and that will turn it on. And we're going to do the same thing for these rails over here, so we're just going to extend this real quick. We don't have to worry about the rest of it right now, but we'll just turn that on. Get rid of that. So that rail's on, and we've now finished the segment. This is all you need to know. This is everything that the station does. So now if we put our cart in, we'll go grab a cart. Go grab our storage cart. Where is it? What am I looking for? Here we go. Put our storage cart here. Yes, we've got to build the button for this, which is very simple. There's no redstone really involved. We just click on this track here, so it goes above, and we just fill in this wall here. Grab our button, and we just put it there. We hit this button now. It'll go into our station. That light will come on, and you'll see that it's gone in there perfectly fine. Everything's working. We hit the button again. Our cart will come out. So now if we have a look around what's going on, we're just going to get rid of a bit of this wall so we can have a better look at what's happening. If we hit this button, you'll see that nothing's happening because the cart's not even in there. That's a bit silly of me. But you'll see that track change. See, when the cart is in here, what's happening here? When the cart is in the spot, this rail faces the other way. It means so any more cart that comes past, if we put this cart in, it won't go into that spot because it's already taken. And it will instead just fall off the edge right now because there's nothing there. So that's what this circuit is doing. It's meaning so no other cart can get in there. But when it leaves, which when we hit this button, when it leaves, the track changes state. So that means the next cart that goes in will go into that spot because it's empty. So we'll put that cart away. Of course, we still have the red circuit to build, which is the part that links all of the segments together. And we also have the yellow circuit down here to build. But for that, we need to build another section. So we'll build another segment here, and you can see right now that this thing is only 2 blocks wide, which I've done my best to make it as small as possible, and 2 blocks wide is pretty good. So we're going to build another segment. We're going to do it in real time. I'm not going to explain every part like I did before. I'm going to do it fairly quickly, well, as quickly as I can, and just so we can see how it goes together. So we're just going to build another one. If you're confused already, then I suggest you go back and watch the first one we built just before. I'm going to build it in the same way, same order, because I'm kind of building in a weird order right now, so I'll do it in the correct order. So we go like this. We got our track in place. We're going to make our pulse limiter right now. We'll grab our redstone. We need our torches as well. Just get all that stuff handy. We're going to get our pulse limiter working here. And we know how to build those. We built a few of them already, so you should be completely professional at making those right now. So we put our repeater on 3 delay. Got our redstone on top, and we got our pulse limiter. Now we're up to our Piston T Flip-Flop. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. Just going to grab a piston. So just building our T Flip-Flop right now, as we always do. They're always going to be the same design, because this is the design I like the most, because it's the smallest, or the smallest and most functional. The one I like, anyways. There are many designs you can use. And we just do our T Flip-Flop, and our T Flip-Flop is done already. We start our blue circuit, which goes like this around the piston. Comes down here, goes up 1 block, goes up another, comes up 1 to the side as well. And now we just put redstone on that line, like this, all the way down into that block, a torch on top of that block, redstone on this one, and another torch on top of that block there. Then we need to build the rest of our station just so we can actually finish this off. So bring this across, leave that spot blank for our light, which we'll grab now, put that in, get our button, put that in, get our flooring, bring it across, oh, not there, like that, get our sign, we'll do that now as well, another sign, like so. Come around the back, now we do our button, so we have our torch on the back so we can activate it with the button. We get our grey wool, build it across here, 3 blocks, torch on the end, redstone on the top. We then also need to power this rail here, like we've done over there, with our torch below the lamp. And that should be it. And now we have 2 segments of the station. So you can see how quickly it is to build once you know how to build it. And hopefully you understand how to build it as well. Now, the next thing we have to do is because... Oh, well, I'll demonstrate what happens right now without the next part of the circuit. So we'll grab our minecart and put him in here. We're going to put him in a station. The first bay is taken, so it's not going to go in there. So it'll go through, and it'll go in that spot over there. Now if we bring out this cart and put it back in, it'll be fine. Actually, it's not going to demonstrate what's not going to work right now because we only have 2 spots, which is... If we have... I have to build another one to demonstrate what's going to happen. Right, I'll build another one. I'm going to do it off camera because if you don't want to watch it again... or maybe you do. I'm going to do it. We're going to do it on camera. I'm going to do it as quickly as I can. I'm not off to a good start. I'm going pretty slow. That's not even right, is it? Oh, Jesus. So we're building our user interface right now. So we get our button. Put it there. It's going nighttime, make it daytime. Bring this across. That's right. Just checking it, make sure it's right. Okay, we're going to build a track now. So bring our track across. It always comes where the button is, so 1 across from the light. Bring it out 4. Bring it up 1. And we'll get our track. So we get our normal piece there and a normal piece there. I'm going to put a detector there and detector there. Powered rail there, there, and there. Good. That's what we like to see. Now we're going to start building our pulse limiter again. Just here and there. Down. Oh, jeez, that's going horribly wrong. Up there, like that. So we got our outline of our pulse limiter. Now we're just got to fill it in. Put our redstone there. Torch on the top. Redstone here. Now we're up to our T flip-flop. Do it here. Like that. Grab our piston from over here. Beautiful. Looking good, looking good. Making good time. Put a torch here. Another one here. Now we're onto our blue circuit already. Bring it around the back of the piston, down here. Up 1 block, up another, and up 1 more on the side. Fill that in with redstone. Just like this. Put a torch on top of that. Redstone on top of that. And another torch there. Now we're just going to do our user interface with our torch there next to the light. Grey wool here. 3 pieces of redstone on the top. And another torch right on the back. Right there. Okay, so now we have our 3, and we also need to power this rail here, so we've got to put that there. I'm going to power that one as well. There we go. So we put 2 torches there just to power those rails. Right, so now we've got our 3 segments, so we've pretty much got the station like we have over there. Now I'm going to show you what's going to happen if because we haven't finished, we've got to do one small thing to make sure it works together. Sign. Oh, capital I. Whoopsies. Oh, I've dropped the sign. Oh well. So now if I bring out this cart, it's still going to work fine. This part will work fine. So you'll see this will work just fine. Well, not that part. That was set wrong. But yeah, anyways, that part works fine. And now we're going to put in our 3rd cart, and it'll go back into its station like it should do normally, which is good. But what you'll see now, if I want to bring out this cart, you see it's going to go here, and it's going to go into that station, and then it's going to go into that station, and then it will finally come out. And you'll see it's turned those off, saying the cart's not in there when it is. It will eventually make its way back, but that is really slow. We want the cart to go straight along this line and go as fast as it can. To do that, we've put a pressure plate in between each, so we can change the tracks as the cart come past. That's how we make sure the carts don't go into the other stations, which I can demonstrate over here real quick. So on this one, if I call this cart out, you'll see it'll come out and it'll go straight along the back here instead of going to the other stations. So it comes out much quicker than our other one did. Right, to do that is really, really easy. And it's on our yellow circuit over there, you can see. So we'll grab our yellow wool. This is probably the easiest part. And what we do, we have our pressure plate here. We put our block below it. So it comes out the side. And we bring it down 1 block again. and then we just loop it around like this. Now we put our redstone here, and we just loop it around, and we put a repeater into this block here. That's all you have to do, and you have to do it for each segment, otherwise it's not going to work. So we do it here on this one as well. So we bring it one block down, bring another block down here, and we just loop it around and join it up. So we now put our repeater into that block, have our redstone filling in this area here. Put that on delay 1, you don't need to change that. So that will fix that issue. So now if we call out this cart, you'll see it will come along, activate those, and it'll make sure it comes out super quick without any issues, without me falling out of the sky. So we press that button again, you'll see it goes along and goes into its station just fine, and it works perfectly, which is awesome. There's one final thing we have to do, which is the red circuit. Because if we press this button here, we can bring out this cart, but we can bring out another cart as well, which is going to mess things up, because it will just bounce back and it'll get stuck sometimes, and it won't work properly. So we're just going to prevent that from happening. So we do that on the red circuit, which is over here. And what it's going to do, basically, well, just tell you over here, because when we press our button, you'll see the grey circuit changes. And to stop that cart from coming out, we just have to prevent that circuit from changing state. So we just need to keep this redstone here on when there's a cart there. So what do we have to do? We have to make another T flip-flop, which is going to say when there's a cart here. So we're going to make another pulse limiter that comes off of this pressure plate here. So we're just going to bring it off to the side, just like this, and we're going to build our pulse limiter. Just had to check how it was laid out on the other side. So we bring it around here, get our repeater going into this block. This is going to be our pulse limiter right here. So we just do our ordinary pulse limiter, coming down here, not there, 2 blocks. So same pulse limiter that we built a million times before already. I'm going to grab that torch, going to put it there, that there, repeater underneath, set to delay of 3. Block here, redstone on top. Now we're going to build another T flip-flop, just like we've done before. Only this time, instead of going onto the left, we're going to go over to the right, because there's no room here. We can't put it there. Have to put it on the other side. So we're going to bring it down here, just like this. I'm going to get our repeaters back again. Not repeaters, what am I saying, repeaters? Oh, pistons. Get another piston over here, just like that. Then we're going to have our torch down this side, not there, this side there. And we're going to get our red circuit now, because this is our circuit that's going to prevent our buttons from being pressed. So we have our red circuit coming here. It goes into a block. Oh, sorry. That's okay. Anyways, it goes into a block like this. So we have our redstone coming out. And it goes into a torch. It's right here. I don't have a torch now. Jeez. I wish I had more slots down the bottom. 9 isn't enough. So we put a torch on top of that. And we bring it up now. Bring it up to the top. With a few torches just like this. That's high enough. And now we bring it around. Not there. Around like this. We don't want to put it above that torch because that will interfere. We're going to bring it around over this way. And it's going to come into this block because we're going to put a light right here. And this is going to tell us when there's a minecart there. So we need to put this here. Bring the circuit along like this. And we're going to press our button. We just need to change the state of this because there's a card in there and the light's off. So if we just put our button on the side here, press it. Oh, sorry, we haven't even finished the T flip-flop. That's embarrassing. Sorry about that. Just finish that off, then it will actually work. So now we press the button and our light is on. So make sure it's in the right state. And then we're just going to join these. So what we're going to do for this, we need to make sure, one important thing to note here is when we join these, if I were to join it straight across like this, which you might think you should do first, the problem with that is, if we do this, and if we try to press a button on one of these, the circuit's still going to be on because it's still receiving power from the other buttons. So we can't actually use this anymore, which is why we can't just join them straight together like that. So we need to make sure that it doesn't interfere like that. So we're going to bring our circuit around the back here, and we're going to join it in like this. So we're just going to bring it across the back like this on all sides, bring it up the side here. And then we're going to use the beautiful invention of a repeater to prevent the signal from interfering. So we're going to put a repeater here. On each of these intersections, we'll put a repeater, just like this. And we'll also put one here. Now we just fill in the blanks with redstone, just like this. And now what the circuit has done, it's already in effect. We can no longer call another cart. It's not going to let us because there's already a cart out. Now when we put it back, the red circuit will turn off and we can call another cart, just like we normally would. So guys, that's all there is to it. We finished the whole station. And you can easily add as many more of these sections as you want. You've seen how quickly it is to build and expandable that it is. And to be honest, once you understand the individual components of this, our pulse repeater, our T flip-flop, and just our simple NOT gates that are going up like this, that's all there is to it. That's what you need to know about redstone. And once you've grasped those aspects, there's so many things you can do with it. So if we go back over to our main station now, I'll just conclude things up. So here we are. This is what we can do with it. We can call out our carts. We can store all our stuff away. And it works beautifully. So that's all there is, guys. That's the end of the tutorial. I hope this is put into perspective what you can do with redstone, what you can do with logic gates, what a T flip-flop is for as opposed to just a lever. Because think about it. If we only had a lever, how could we do this circuit? Because you can only activate a lever by clicking on it. This switch here, the T flip-flop, is activated by redstone. Without the T flip-flop, this circuit wouldn't work because we need 4 of them. And we couldn't use 4 levers. That's not going to work, is it? So that's what that's useful for. And we've got all our NOT gates here as well that help to invert the signal to the one we want. And I hope that the series has led the series of tutorials has led up to this point where I can finally show you something that you can put all your redstone knowledge together and actually make something functional and practical out of it. And we're going to be doing a lot more of these things, not minecarts, a lot more redstone things in general that put together things that we've learned in previous episodes and show you how they can be applicable to make something that is going to be beneficial to you in the long run. So, on my final note, that is the end of the tutorial. If you have any questions, post them in the description below, in the comments below. If you've got confused about something in the tutorial and you want more clarification, you can either rewatch that section again, or maybe you want me to do an individual tutorial just on that part itself. But guys, that is the end of this episode. It's been a very long episode of Redstone tutorials, but I hope it's really helped out some of you, and hope this is actually a useful little contraption for you. But I'm Flabberleaky, and I'll see you next time.